Greetings, I'm Reverend John O'Toole. Welcome to another Fairy Speak, where the fairy speaks for both you and you and you and you and you and you and you, and perhaps even me. It's a beautiful day outside. Yesterday was Father's Day. We're going to tap into that energy. I had a wonderful time with my daughter on Father's Day, and yeah. My other daughter is not available at the moment, which is too bad. It would be nice to spend some time with her, but it's not possible at the moment. I'd like to do a shameless plug. I have found this soda called Maine Root Soda. This particular is the ginger brew. And the ginger is actually real ginger. They have a bunch of different flavors. You can go on their website and check them out. Or you can find out who sells them nearby. There's a number of stores, but I'm not going to take it. I don't want you to clean out the inventory locally. But if you can get whoever it is you find it at, if you can order by the case, you'll save some money. That's just a tip. Root beer is really, really good. They have blueberry, sarsaparilla. I think they have an orange soda. I'm not sure. You'd have to go on their website. It's Maine Root Beer. This is not a plug. I am not sponsored by them at all. I don't actually have any sponsors. Except for the fairies. The fairies sponsor my work. Isn't it awfully nice? To have somebody that doesn't believe in money to be your sponsor. So, we are going to read some cards today. Are we going to read some cards? I'd just like to remind you that I'm using Brian Fraud's Fairy Oracle book. You can look around for it on Amazon. Last time I checked, it was back in stock. And if you order it as a set, you get the card deck with it. You can kind of follow along with these videos if you wished, and read a more detailed information about the cards. And as I mention to you every time, you should identify who's your primary fairy for guidance. My primary fairy is called Hairy Feet because he has hairy feet. And he's a gnome. But he doesn't really look like a typical gnome. That's why you want to introduce yourselves to them and draw a picture of them on your card, or on a piece of paper, or on your tablet, or I guess any way you actually wish to do it. I suggest that you don't go and buy. I don't suggest you go look through pictures of fairies and identify with a picture. I think you just want to create one yourself. That's just my saying. It could be a pig with polka dots. My daughter had me tell one of her friends who her fairy was, and we were at Applebee's, and the only thing I could come up with was a pig with polka dots, pink polka dots on it. Came walking in the dining hall from the kitchen. And she was amazed because she never shared that with anybody before. Go figure. I apologize, I got the air conditioning running. Well, look at that. 2 blue cards. Can you imagine that? The singer of initiation. Do 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 do. So we're going to draw 6 cards. Seems like it's the norm. It's actually 1 card too many, but that is what we're going to do. And we're going to read the cards and see where our energy flows. Don't quite recall where we were last time. I would have to watch the show last time. I thought it was a rather interesting show now when I think about it. Topsy-turvies. 5. And I think we're going to go for this one right here. And you know what we're going to do? And I don't know why, but someone's suggesting that we try something different. I'm going to do this. We're going to mix them up. Most peculiar idea. I'd like to know which one of the fairies suggested it. Don't think it was Harry, though. We are going to go, it doesn't really matter where we start now, what, does it? So, we're going to start from over here. Ooh, look at that. Number 55. No, it's not number 55. 35 maybe? 53. Are you ready for this one? Dun dun dun! We got the death card. Everybody gets excited when they see the death card. It really has nothing to do about death. Believe me, it doesn't. Every time you see it on a TV show when they pull the death card and they get all worrisome, the reader always explains to you that it's not what you think. Now let's see. There we go. Number 53. Death. Natural, timely endings, release, and liberation. Do you see the word death in there anywhere? Do you see passing? Natural, timely endings, release, and liberation. I'm slowly remembering last week. Well, that's a very cool card to start with, and it was a vertical card. Now, if this card was in reverse, for example, the important change is being blocked by clinging on to old habits and things. Change may be too difficult to achieve. If this card was in reverse to me, it might have to do with my younger daughter. But or my relationship with my younger daughter. I'm not going to get into that here. So what's the next card? Anybody have any ideas? Number 57. Another vertical card. Wanza the Wild. A very interesting card indeed. Wanza the Wild. Haste, impulsiveness, fire, spontaneity, and balance. Well, that's like almost sounds like the opposite to the death card. Haste, impulsiveness, fire, spontaneity, and balance. Spontaneity and balance. So it's just referring to haste, impulsiveness. Don't jump the gun. The death card is given the opportunity to move forward, to let go of old things. But it doesn't mean jump out of an airplane without your parachute. Or even with a parachute. A friend of mine on YouTube, Kerry Holzman, was talking about his experience of jumping out of an airplane and the experience, the fact that he was looking at death's in the face and he achieved it. Personally, I think planes are made safe for a reason. The only reason to jump out of one with a parachute is because it's crashing, or you're in the military or such. But personally, you're not going to see this guy jumping out of an airplane just for the fun of it. So we have Jehovah, Hoyabeth, number 61. Habya. Also a vertical card. Isn't that most unusual? We've had 3 cards all vertical. It's very unusual. Imaginary fears, unreal hazards, realistic caution. I don't think jumping out of an airplane is unrealistic fear. I know people do it. I know the military do it. I know it's kind of like walking on fire. You really just have to overcome the fear. Although my dainty feet wouldn't handle it too much, it has enough trouble walking barefoot. But I guess what you do is you stand on, a wet sponge until you cool down your feet, then you go across the coals. It's really mind over matter. It's not so much, unless you stop along the way. Like I said, my feet are dainty. Imaginary fears. It's like having a nightmare. I just watched a movie called Oh, oh, what was it called? Well, it was a movie about tornadoes. And this person was having these nightmares of a big tornado coming and was going to be devastating to him and his family. So he built a fallout shelter. Now, a fallout shelter is not a bad thing. It's being prepared. If you have flashlights in your house in case the power goes off, that's part of being prepared. It's not an unrealistic fear that you're going to lose electricity. It's not an unrealistic fear that you could lose electricity for several days. So, if you're dependent on electricity, you should have backup systems to protect your food and protect you. I have some backup systems to protect me. It's not an invitation for you all to come to my house if there's a power failure. No. I'm taking applications. And you'd rather bring toilet paper with you and some food and some gasoline. Maybe some good Barbados rum. Just saying, because it really would go good with ginger beer. I'm in a punchy mood today. It's all that giddiness. You know, if you put your hand on a stove and it's lit, it's going to get burnt. It's not an unrealistic fear. You know that you're going to get burnt, so you don't do it. Now, if the stove is off and you won't go near it any time of the day and night because you're afraid you're going to get burnt even if the stove is off, that's an unrealistic fear. So you have to use your brain to take over for your subconscious. Perhaps you were burned as a child, or experiences with the stove was, some issues while you were a child, and that has been brought up to your adulthood, and those fears still follow with you. There's all kinds of fears that you could have while you're a child that get carried up through your negative ego that prevents you from moving forward. It's called a paralyzing fear. Like flying, for example. You may not want to get on an airplane. The next one is number 12. It's a singer card. And like I mentioned before, I think the singer cards are very much about the chakra system. You can even see them. And this one is the singer of the chalice. The singer of the chalice. Trust, patience, creativity, hope, and miracles. But this card was in reverse. And if this card was in reverse, it would look like so. See how you don't have the line going up to spirit, up to mother energy, up to God, Goddess, all that is. Your trust is muted. That energy coming up from above is being blocked. So the reverse is the trust is muted. And this kind of goes from what we were just talking about. A lot of people jump out of airplanes for fun. Usually in the beginning, they jump out with a an experienced jumper so that you can get comfortable with it. They just don't just push you out the door like they do in the military. So I've heard. I only know what I've seen in movies. I haven't actually talked to a parachuter. Maybe someone will write something on my YouTube channel about the experience. Your brain has to have a conversation with your heart and your solar plexus to find out whether the fear is real or if the fear is make-believe. There's ways of working with the stove to be safe. Ways to jump out of an airplane to be safe. You have to decide whether your fear is real or it is not real. And if it's not real, you need to go back into your past and understand what happened to convince your negative ego or your child that it is unsafe. And then you have an intelligent conversation with your child, explaining to them that it is not a real fear. Just like if you were having a lightning storm and your child would be all upset from the lightning storm, you would explain to them about what lightning is. You would probably do the count thing, and you'd see the flash of light and you'd count until it actually went rumbling, so that you could prove to them that the storm is going away. Of course, it also tends to not go away, and the count actually goes down, but it's not always possible that your house is going to get hit by lightning. Usually it's going to get to something that is higher in the sky and has a connection to ground, like electric poles and those kind of things, tall trees. Number 20, the Dark Lady. A very pretty card indeed. There you go. Number 20. Dark Lady. Unconscious power and wisdom. Rituals and mysteries and secrets. This card was in reverse. Occupying ourselves with our outer world and ignoring the call from within, which is very much what we're talking about. This separation between our brain and our soul or our emotions. We need to bring them together. Have a little chat. Maybe go ballroom dancing. None of that rock and roll stuff. Ballroom dancing. You watch ballroom dancing or the, some of these other moves, the one from True Lives, but it's a flow. Both sides are nice and flow and moving and turning and all in unison. You wish the brain to be in connection with your emotions. Same thing. Otherwise, we're kind of in a standstill. Now, the Death card, which was transformation, was vertical, so we are moving through it. I think that part of these cards are giving us a definition of where we're moving along to. Giving you something for your homework assignment. There will be a test next week. I don't know what the test questions will be, but there will be a test. Kind of makes you think of it as a golden retriever in an odd sort of way. Or maybe a, the racehorse, the race dog. I'm a little short on words today. I'm the Retriever, which was a vertical card. Nice to end on a vertical card. Office of Unclaimed Property, Hopes and Wishes, and Loyalty. If this was in reverse, we might be saying, I can't do it. I refuse to do it. I'm not doing it. No, I'm not going near the stove. I know it's off, but I'm not going near it. Hopes, wishes, and loyalty. Moving forward. Your assignment is, if you wish to accept it, before the tape self-destructs, is to have a communication with your child on unrealistic fears. And we will see you next time when the fairy speaks for you and you and you. Ta-ta for now. And belated happy Father's Day for all of you that are watching. And all those mothers out there that had to do the job of the father because the father, for whatever reason, was not present.